How you doing? So I am now uncollected in my new account challenge, and it only took me 60 days. I actually missed a day of not playing, so I could have actually even been faster becoming uncollected in less than 60 days. And it was actually the day I missed was hero use, where I spent the most time playing the game. So I could have done it even faster than 60 days, but I feel like missing a day is a good thing because it makes it more realistic. And this challenge is really try to be as realistic as I can for a new player to become uncollected. And I feel like, for a new player to become uncollected in 60 days, I think it's realistic. It's kind of hard to imagine. It took me almost 2 years to become uncollected in my main account. And this new account challenge, it took me 2 months, 60 days to become uncollected as a free to play with casual gameplay. And that's also missing a day as well. I want to, that was a good thing. I did miss a day. It's okay to miss, rare occasion to miss a day. I feel like doing this challenge without missing a day, it doesn't seem realistic. So that's okay that I did miss a day. So, so what I have done so far. So as I mentioned, to become uncollected, you gotta beat the collector. So I did beat the collector. So let's go to it. I'm actually surprised it took me a lot longer to beat the collector, and it spent more revives than I thought I would use. I think I spent close to 10 revives beating the collector. So the biggest reason why it took me 10 revives or close to that is I just don't have the synergy team with Hulk. You know, it's crazy. It took me about the same amount of time, you know, my first time in my main account to do it with 4-star Hulk. And this was not ascended because back then there was no ascension. So with 4-star Hulk unascended, okay, took me the same amount of time or same amount of revives with a 5-star rank 4 ascended Hulk. He is now level 5, level 44, a rank 5. Once I have enough gold, I will take him to level 65 and I will have a rank 5 fully maxed out ascended. He is unawakened. So so that's the down part about that. But as I already mentioned, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I just didn't have the synergy like I had with Hulk. And this was the pre-buff Hulk, okay? Back then, his signature ability really matters. And with Heimdall and Thor Ragnarok in my team, it really helped because the 20% revive can go a long way. I also had Hala and Angela, which really helped as well because I gained 20% of my health back. So having those 20% revive really became so helpful first time clearing it with Hulk pre-buff. And really, like I said, I just didn't have the synergy with Hulk to take on the collector. Even though I do think Hulk right now, no, buff Hulk is better than pre-buff. You know, his awakening ability is nice, but it's not necessarily before the buff. You really want him to awaken and preferably be at max sig. But I think his awaken ability could be decent. He becomes more physical and critical resistant, so it becomes tankier. He can become unstoppable as well, so you can be able to block while opponent is hitting you or counter them while you're unstoppable. So I do think having his signature ability is nice thing to have, but it's not super necessary. Like before the buff, you really want him to be awakened and preferably at max sig. So as I mentioned, I think the reason why that I spend the same amount of revives to do this, compared to using a 4-star Hulk pre-buff, is I just didn't have the synergy. And having him low health back then, at max sig really matters. Like he actually hits harder at super low health at max sig back then, but now he still hits hard, but he doesn't need to be at low health, and he doesn't need his awaken ability when it comes to Hulk to hit, to hit hard. So yeah, it's unfortunate. It took me longer than I wanted, or more as much revived more revive than I was expecting. Really, I was expecting to do maybe like 3 revives or less, but it is what it is. So now I'm on collected. So as you can see, let's look at my roster. Surprisingly, I don't even have a 6 star. Some people are telling me that they already have a 6 star when it comes to their new accounts. I'm not really sure where they're getting the 6 stars. Perhaps they're spending money in the game, or they spend a lot of units when it comes to July 4th. So I'm not sure where they got the 6 stars. I will be getting a 6 star on Monday because Kabam Jax is leaving, and his gift to players that are below Paragon is a 6 star Guardian. If you're Paragon and above, you will be getting the 7 star Guardian. Or you can choose. Maybe you could choose either or. But I'm really not a big fan of Guardian. I think he's good overall when it comes to Guardian. Um, I don't think he's a bad champion, but it's just not my playstyle when it comes to Guardian. I'm sure he has his uses for sure, but I rather just use my Hulk. I have Hulk right now, rank 5, level 5, ascended. Rank 5, level 44, ascended, 5 stars. So I think he's gonna go a long way. I'm not even a big fan of using 6 stars in Uncollected, as I mentioned before. I did say I will be using 6 stars when I become Uncollected. But who knows? Maybe not. But for sure, when I become Cavalier, I will be using 6 stars. But right now, I think 5 star Hulk, rank 5 ascended, is gonna be good enough to become Cavalier. So my plans is really just to become Cavalier. I don't know when, how long it's gonna take, but the overall goal is really to become, as I mentioned in the very beginning of this account challenge, is to become Paragon in 1 year with average gameplay of 30 minutes a day. But I feel like, if as an average player myself, if I can do it in 1 year, I feel like it's not realistic for a new player to do it in 1 year with casual gameplay average of 30 minutes a day. So I feel like I really think I could do it in 10 months or less. My goal is to do it in 8 months to become Paragon with casual gameplay averaging 30 minutes as a free to play. I think it's definitely possible. So that's it. Everything I've done, I think it's realistic for a new player to become Cavalier. Uncollected in 60 days. As you can see here, let's look at my inventory. I still have lots of revives, and I actually used the ones that were on the overflow, and actually used some ones as well in the stash, because I played I spent more revives than I was expecting, close to about 10 revives to beat the collector. But I expect a new player to be using the revives. So to become Uncollected in 60 days, I expect them to be using all the revives, maybe some units, but I don't think it's necessary. I wasn't even going to uh, try to complete Act 5 and become Uncollected, but then I did spend units to ascend Hulk as a 5 star. Then once I had him at rank 3, 5 star, ascended, I started going through Act 5 with really not that much revives. And I did spend units. I spent 750 units when it comes to July 4th. I wasn't really planning to spend units for July 4th, but I thought it was a pretty good investment. Getting a million gold plus the ISO is really helpful. Right now, I need gold to rank up, what do you call this? Hulk, as a, to level 65. He's currently level 44. So once I have enough gold, he'll be level 65. Rank 5 ascended. So, like I mentioned, I think to become Cavalier, rank 5 ascended Hulk is going to be good enough, to become Cavalier. Till then, who knows if I'll be using 6 stars, but by the time I'm Cavalier, I'll be using 6 stars for sure. I wasn't really even planning to spend units for the July 4th, but you know, if I had pushed further, I thought that was permanent, but for some reason, I guess it's not permanent. So I end up not getting the ascension for the push further event. If you know the push further event, there was an extension there from the calendar, but somehow I became conqueror. After like 3 days after the push event started, push further event started, and I just didn't get the, what do you call it, ascension dust, and which would have ascended Hulk right there. But it is what it is. 750 units, I think it's well worth it. Also getting a million gold. So, and I think it's actually good that I didn't get the ascension, because I wanted to be as realistic as possible, and I don't think that was permanent when it comes to the push further events. So I think it's everything I said. Like I mentioned, I think a new player can become uncollected in 60 days with casual gameplay. I think when you become Thronebreaker and above, Paragon, and really just Stormbreaker and above, that's when you kind of need to know about the game more often, because being getting to Cavalier, I don't really think there's really not much difficulty. You can get by with a lot of champions to become Cavalier, but to become Thronebreaker and above, I think it's going to be more challenging, I think. So that's it. That's my uh you know becoming uncollected in 60 days. Thank you.